you a hustler who's been looking for a podcast that dives into the minds of the relentless hustlers, the game changers, and the unapologetic leaders who've conquered the business world? This is Pushing the Bar, where success isn't just a destination, it's a journey. We'll get into the minds of the relentless hustlers. You're about to get the real and raw truth about the highs, lows, the good, the bad, and the ugly of the entrepreneurial battlefield. You know, the place where dreams clash with reality and success is earned, not given. Shawn has been in the trenches, from a Verizon wireless salesman to building a damn tech empire worth millions.
Damn!
He's seen it all and lived to tell the tale. No sugar-coated fluffy crap here. Just raw, real-world advice served straight up. We're pushing the bar because success, it ain't gonna push itself. Now, here's Shawn Torres.
Well, hey everybody, this is Shawn Torres. I'm excited to have a special guest. It's been a while since I recorded content, and we talked about doing this maybe, I think I looked the other day, it was like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
And the room's been ready.
Yep.
And yesterday, I was in a meeting and my CFO made a comment to me, when are you going to start recording content? You built out that studio and it's time to start doing it. So I'm super excited to have Brandi Heath here, who's a good friend of mine personally, but also pretty impressive in what she's done with her personal brand. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm ready. I know you texted me yesterday and said, can you be here? And so move some stuff around. I'm excited.
I love it.
Yeah.
So tell us, what's always been intriguing to me is I was never one to really think about building a personal brand, right? And I met some people and a buddy of mine told me one day, he invited me on his podcast. And I said, he said, man, you should really create a personal brand. You got a really cool story. Yeah. You've done some cool things and you should do it.
Yeah.
And I went down that path and started to it always feels awkward, right?
Right.
Building that out and doing it.
Yes.
But what got you to start?
So, it's so funny because what I did before was, I developed a company, like a business, and it wasn't a personal brand. It was a brand for the company. I built houses and interior designer. So it was building that brand for that, not necessarily for me personally. But I was the person who did it. I was the owner of it all and everything. So switching to the more just personal side is completely different. And it's funny because you don't think that you're not sure that people want to actually follow your journey. Like, who's actually going to tag along? Who wants to see this?
Right?
Who cares? Exactly. But, the more that you do it, and of course, in the very beginning, it's very nerve-wracking on things, right? And I was very baby steps with things. Like, I would never get in front of the camera that much. I would never really talk on camera, everything. But baby steps to get me there. And I love it. I mean, and building the personal brand has become almost second nature now. And just kind of telling your story. You don't have to share every single little thing in your life, but telling your overall story. And I love the fact that with the personal brand, you don't understand how many people you're actually helping and motivating, or just, I've been in that situation, or, and just helping others too. It's actually really cool how it all turns out and how many people really relate to what you're doing.
Well, if you look at the content that you're putting out there, one, it's useful, right? You think about how many people that are busy.
Yeah.
And you're busy. You have 2 young children,
yes.
right? And a job.
Yes.
And running this and doing this. And I just think it's awesome that if you think about the content you put out there, it also is inspiring women that they can still cook an easy meal that comes together quickly.
Exactly.
And I think
the One Pot Mama is all about getting back in the kitchen and helping that busy mom, or even just busy wife, woman who just has a full-time career. Even if you don't have kids, sometimes it's still hard to come home and cook a good meal. So it's all about the simple ingredients, simple instructions, takes under 30 minutes, and all in one easy cleanup pot to do. So to help you still feed your family with good, nourishing meals like you want to, not have to stop at McDonald's or anywhere else. And, every day.
Well, that's what we live in today is everybody's moving so fast.
No, and look, there's so many sports and stuff that everybody does and extracurricular activities. It's so hard. So there's a ton of even just crock pot meals that are just easy to put on during the day, you know, so it's ready whenever you get home. There's just a huge wide range of things to help different moms and women just all over, even guys, you know, whoever wants to cook.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
And when you also did a book.
I did my first cookbook last year.
And it sold.
Yes,
fast.
it's been doing great. I mean, it's still for sale online, and it's actually in 3 different stores in the Mandeville area and everything too. So it's been going great.
So is there plans to do more?
Yes, there is. There's actually one in the works right now.
So let's go back to the beginning. You said, you know, you start putting this together and you start thinking about how you're going to start recording yourself. And look, I can tell you, for me, I still to this day, like my buddy was telling me recently, like, man, like you travel all the time, like you're going to these different conferences. Like I really think as you're doing it, you should pull your phone out and video yourself and just record yourself and what you're saying and where you're going and who you're looking forward to see. So obviously it feels super awkward, right?
It does. And so, again, the more you do it, the more you get used to it. But it is definitely super awkward in the beginning. However, I've kind of, you know, even this morning, came and woke up and he wanted donuts before we went to camp. So I actually videoed the little process of going to the grocery store. He got donuts, we checked out and all this and, you know, tagged Rouse's and everything just because it was an easy stop and, you know, what do you want it to do? But it becomes second nature to you, I guess, if you do it more and more is my point. But yes, in the beginning, putting the camera up on you, I mean, there was just, I would only like film just the food and like me not in it and everything. So, but over time, it definitely becomes second nature and you definitely get more and more used to it. But doing that, just like, you know, at all your stuff is, I mean, that's huge. Because, I mean, you have a lot of valuable content too that other people can hear if you do record it.
You don't realize that content. I think what I always struggle with for the longest time is we're just living our life and doing things that we normally do every single day, and you don't recognize the impact you make. Like I go to these conferences, and I've had so many different owners of IT companies come up to me, and they're like, Shawn, like, how have you built this thing so fast and got it to grow? And they want advice. Like, they want me to coach them. They want to pay me to coach them. And I'm like, I'm not a coach. Like, I'm running my own business. Like, I don't have time to really coach you, and I can introduce you to people. But I think that's where some of that started with me is like your story and getting it out there is important. And I think your story is awesome. And I think the thing that intrigued me the most was the fact that we were somewhere out of town, and I asked you, I said, Brandi, who does all your content? Who are you paying to do all this? And you were like, nobody, I'm doing it. So I think, so have you ever thought of like bringing somebody in and
So look, eventually I think that there is going to be things that I will bring people in on, but right now, obviously starting a new company, new personal brand, all that, I mean, it's all about funding and everything too, right? You can't put out, I always say to invest in your business for sure, but I mean, there's a certain line that you have to draw too of how much is invested in everything.
If you don't have it, like, and you can't just run things into the hole. You know, it's funny you say that. I think back to the beginning days of starting the company and getting things moving, and like, you don't have money.
Right.
So, like, you got to get creative on finding ways to go to market. And I think so many owners and even people that want to build a personal brand and want to do something, like, they get so caught up on, I need to write out a business plan. I got to save up all this money because how am I going to do it without money? And it's like, you can do it without money. Like, you might just have to do a lot yourself. For the time being. And maybe it's not perfect. And you figure it out. I remember wearing the CFO hat, the accounts payable, the install tech, the salesperson. You do it all, like in the beginning. And
you do. I mean, and so I've done it from the beginning like that, which I actually love because so now I know how to edit what I want, and I've kind of developed my style of what I like, and you know, over time, and it's still ever evolving, right? I mean, you still like learn new things.
It's definitely gotten better since the beginning.
Oh,
like, I was looking at videos this morning. Like I went to the gym, I came home, I was sitting there eating breakfast, and I went back looking at some of the old content,
stuff,
and just seeing from the beginning to where it is today. It's definitely gotten better,
night and day for sure. But I mean, it's just you don't know what you don't know at first, right? And so you just start by doing anything in the very beginning of what you think that you know, and then it just ever evolves, and you watch other people and you're like, oh, that was a cool shot, let me try that next time, you know, different stuff like that. So
it takes practice, right?
It does.
And
yes. I mean, I remember
nonstop.
editing in the very beginning, the few videos that I would first start to edit would take forever. forever. I mean, literally, I would probably work on it for like half a day. I felt like days on end that equal to that. And so, but now I can edit a video within like 20 minutes, so, but it's just practice and doing it.
So are you using any, they got all these AI tools out there today.
I have
with editing.
not.
So nothing, just doing
haven't.
it pure raw.
It is. It's
yourself.
pure
Okay,
raw
awesome.
me. I have not ventured into that. I'm not against it. I just haven't done it. But I'm so old school in a sense too. Like even the whole chat GPT and everything, I just haven't embraced it yet.
No, I think it's awesome because the content is great.
Thanks.
You put it out, is it daily?
Yeah, daily.
Yeah, so every single
morning.
day.
Sometimes twice a day, just depending on what's going on and everything. I mean, stories are always a consistent thing throughout the day and all too. Right. So.
And then how many followers do you have today?
Just hit 10,000.
That's awesome. That's all. You've been doing this for?
It'll be right at 2 years in a few months.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so, I mean, and January is really whenever I fully stopped doing my other job. I fully stopped building. I made the decision in January to stop building. So I finished up my last house that I was doing, of course, and it's actually under contract right now, about to be sold, and that's it. But I mean, I kind of, with 2 kids and everything, it was like hard. I had to either, me, if I do something, I want to do it the best of my ability. So it was either stop this and, continue building, or it was stop building and continue.
Well, I think this is something you can do and still be a mom and be around.
Well, and it relates. I love building and I love designing and everything like that, but it relates to me more, and with everything, with having, with our kids and everything that we do, and it's easier at home and being able to help everybody else too.
Well, look, I think it's an inspiration for people that want to go out and create something, and I think so many people want to go do it. They just don't jump in and just do it.
Correct.
And have an understanding. Last week I was out of town and a driver was driving me in Houston, and he asked me what I did. I guess he heard me on a phone call, and I told him what I did, and he said, so if you can give me any advice, what would be the first step into entrepreneurship? And I was like, well, just do it.
Yeah.
And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, what do you want to do? He's like, well, I'd like to have my own driving service. I'm like, yeah. Well, do you own this car? And he's like, I do. I'm like, well, just do it.
There you go.
Like, and just start there.
Yeah.
And I think that so many people get caught up in thinking like, what do I need to do to start? It's, like I said, you don't need to. No, look, I'm not going to say that people shouldn't write business plans. Yeah. I didn't write a business plan. I didn't have, we had an idea what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it. And then obviously, if I think about what we did in the beginning versus what we do today, it's totally
completely
separate.
Different.
Like, we started a consulting company to save people money on their cell phone bills that turned into a full boat tech company. Yeah. So it's like, if you would have told me that I would have had a tech company in the beginning, I would have called you a liar. Like I had no clue that we would be that today.
Absolutely.
Right? Especially the things we're doing and how big we've gotten and how good it's going.
No, absolutely. I mean, if you would have asked me the first thing that I would have done, if where I thought I would have been now, whenever I first started posting recipes, I would have laughed at you. Because I wasn't really even a social media person. I never really posted that much about, even just our family or anything like that. I mean, it was like a birthday post. Oh, happy birthday, stuff like that, but nothing crazy.
And so I mean, like full-blown content creator.
And so, I mean, I literally had right at 400 followers of just people that I knew, and that was it. And then, so it just grew and became to what it is now.
You have this
but
brand
I would have
like
never.
People, a lot of people, but still, 10,000 people following you. I mean, think about it. There's people out there you're inspiring every single day that just want to get the next meal to cook. Yes. And they're awesome, by the way. I mean, Shannon has cooked a bunch of them. So that's what's cool about it. It's really intriguing to see.
Very relatable stuff. And I love, it's such a fun community of people is what I really love about it too. And I feel like there's so many people who reach out to me and so many people that I talk to on a normal basis.
How many messages do you get a day?
Oh, geez. I mean, at least a minimum of probably like 40 different ones on a
that's awesome.
On a just normal day.
That's
and so
of people you just don't even know.
People I've never even met before. But there's some people who talk to me about so many different things and ask me so many different things. I feel like I know them. I mean, because I've shared before like our different journeys just between us getting married and just having kids and everything like that. And so people reach out about things like that too, which I love. Like I love talking and being open and helping people in whatever journey that is along the way.
So many people think that maybe their situation's not normal.
Yeah.
And we got to remember that we all have our struggles going through different things. So
Absolutely.
I think that people that are open and vulnerable about that can really benefit other folks that maybe feel like they're alone.
Yes.
And I think thinking about your brand and thinking about your journey and struggles y'all went through with kids and the whole 9 yards, like it's awesome to see that you're willing to put that out there and inspire people, you know, because I think, look, obviously your father is an incredible human being and extremely successful.
Yeah.
And you could have taken the path of jumping in the same family business and it would have been easy.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I think it's awesome that you're doing your thing and doing it your way. And I think that so many people, you know, I have some friends that their family owns a furniture store.
Okay.
And I remember asking Ross, he was my college roommate, he lived with me and Jimmy, and I said, so are you going to go into the furniture business? And he's like, hell no. I was like, really? Like you got this successful company that you could just like inject yourself into. And he went a totally different path and like did his own thing. So, I mean, I think, look, obviously you have the entrepreneur spirit, right? You grew up in
look who I was raised by.
King entrepreneur, right? And all that exposure. But I think it's awesome that like, you know, even from the contracting, interior design and doing your own thing, and you could have just, like I said, so what, I got to ask you this question. What made you not want to go in that business?
So honestly, I grew up in it, right?
And I'm assuming you worked in it at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I mean, my whole life I worked in and out of it, of doing things. I mean, clearly I was in school too. So in and out of school and all that. I love the family business. Don't get me wrong. I just knew growing up with Dad and even Steven, because, I mean, they were two very strong male dominant people in my life that I learned a lot from. And they truly taught me what it meant to be successful, how to be successful. You have to make shit happen. But it only works if it's something that you want to do, right? It doesn't work if it's being forced. And they loved all of that, and they loved that business. I mean, I loved it too. I loved working there when I did. I loved all the people, but I just knew ultimately it wasn't my end all of what I wanted to do. And so I wanted to take everything that I learned from them and from there and all of my experiences, but put it into my own little package of what I wanted to do. And at first it was building houses. And so I built that company from ground up and, you know, did all of that. And then it kind of morphed into the One Pot Mama now. And so that's what, you know, life just pivots sometimes. And that's what you do.
And you got to be okay with that.
Yeah, you do.
Mark Cuban, always, I love Shark Tank. And Mark Cuban has a saying on there, don't chase the dream, chase the green.
Yeah.
You know, and I think back to the beginning days of like Jimmy and I getting into this and really trying to figure out what we're going to do, you know, and so many people give up so quick. And in the first year of business, we did $8,400 in revenue in year one, which is brutal, right? Like you can't live on that.
No.
So I was selling shirts on the street at Saints games and doing odd and cutting people's grass, doing odd and end jobs just to make ends meet to get moving forward, you know. And obviously we pivoted, right? Yeah. We pivoted to things that, and at the end of the day, like, we just wanted to help people. Yes. Right? It's kind of like what you're doing. You just want to do the right thing and help people. And you don't realize, like, I watch Shannon constantly with 3 young children at home, and it's a job.
Oh,
it is a job.
I mean, much harder than what you do, I promise.
Yes, I agree. I wouldn't want to do that.
Yes.
So I think that's where, like, I look at that, and you just think about simple things like dinner, right? Yeah. And it's like, what are we going to, like, and you don't want to. Yeah. I remember growing up as a child, my mom cooked, and my mom worked. And my mom was a one-pot mama. Like, she would make, I'll never forget, she would make this dish. She would do, like, canned cream of chicken and cream of mushroom, like, take 2 chicken breasts, cut up an onion and carrots, throw them in a pot, and dump that in there and let it rip.
Exactly.
You know? And I think that's where, like, you want different things, right? My mom always cooked these different meals as a kid, and I think it's awesome that you're doing that for your boys and getting the different variety of different things. And I think that's what you've done so well. And like, even as I was going back to your videos this morning, I was like, damn, like, she's made a lot of different stuff. Like, how does she come up with all these different things? So how do you do that? How do you figure out, like?
So It all depends. So sometimes it's just stuff that like either I'm craving or I want to eat. Or sometimes I saw somebody cook something that inspired me to create it into something else too. You know, because I mean, I see all these people. There's 100 million different food content creators out there. And they all have great ideas too. So I mean, sometimes it's things that I see from them that I'm like, oh, that's a good idea, but let me put this twist on it, or actually let me do this, you know, and I just make it my own. And it's funny because sometimes Shane says that all the time. He was like, okay, I know you're always creating new things, but sometimes like I want to go back to, you know, that dish like that we had, you know, 2 months ago. Like I really liked that, you know, so I've been trying to.
So do you jot those down when he tells you like,
yes,
I really like
there's
this?
certain ones that he like really loves and all. And I mean,
your orange.
Oh, he loved
orange,
that one.
is it
Yes,
orange chicken
the
meatballs?
orange chicken meatballs. Yes,
Those
and it's funny
awesome.
because he's not a cottage cheese person, you know, and I'm actually just recently, like this year, a cottage cheese person. I know it's been a huge trend for years.
Well, it's
plus.
good protein. It's good for you,
it's
right?
great.
It's
And that's really why I started like trying it this year, is because I just wanted to add in more protein into my diet and everything like that. So I was like, okay, let me jump on this whole bandwagon and test it out. And so I started doing that. Well, and the other night, I had no idea what I was making. Not a clue. And it was 4:30 and I had some ground chicken in the fridge. I saw an orange on the counter and I was like, okay, I'll make some chicken, you know, orange chicken meatballs. Well, I didn't have an egg as like a binder for making the meatballs. So I was like, okay, let me try cottage cheese. So I put that in there and I mean, I'm glad I filmed it because
it looked awesome.
Wasn't actually going to film it because I had no idea what I was making. I was not prepared that night. I really just kind of whipped something up, but it ended up being so good.
What's funny you say that. Years ago, Shannon I did competitive bodybuilding for a few years,
Yeah.
so Shannon would always try to find different
ways.
ingredients and different ways to cook things healthy.
Yeah.
And I had a coach that was recommending cottage cheese.
Yeah.
So she was making a dish one night where she took egg noodles and some low sodium marinara sauce.
Yep.
And some meat sauce and kind of cooked it. Well, she was thinking of calling for ricotta cheese.
Yes.
So instead of putting ricotta cheese, she replaced that with cottage cheese.
Yes.
And I would have never told you that I liked it. And even the kids, like I would have said, no way, the kids are not eating this.
Yes.
Still to this day, she cooks that dish and it's awesome.
It's so good.
Like, and you don't really to me, it doesn't taste like cottage cheese and it gives you the same texture.
I've always had a bad MO on it just because growing up, that's all my mama ever ate was cottage cheese. And she would just dump the can of pineapples in there. And I don't know, it grossed me out my entire life. And so I just never really, as an adult, even tried it until this past recent year. And I was just like, oh, this is what I've been missing out.
And it's really good for you.
It actually really is good for you. Yes.
I know. I saw you put peaches on a pizza. And I was like, that looked awesome.
Yes.
Who would have thought to do that? And I think that's just the different things is like the palate changes based on the different
and with
food.
the seasons and stuff too. You know, like peaches are getting in season now. And so like I love incorporating things that are in season and everything too. You know, it's fun for the summer and just change up things, you know? I mean, it was funny because it kind of all started because every single day, I feel like it's in every single family. It was, what do you want for dinner tonight? I don't know. What do you want for dinner tonight? And it was just the conversation every day.
You get caught up in the same things over and over again.
Your same four things
yes.
that you usually make. Oh, I guess we'll have tacos tonight. Oh, I guess, chicken tomorrow, whatever.
Because tacos are easy.
Yes, exactly. And so finally I was just like, you know what? I was like, I'm tired of having this conversation. And so I just started cooking, different new stuff and just kind of creating stuff. I've always loved to cook. We just everybody kind of gets into like a little routine of, you have so much stuff going on. And so, oh, okay, maybe this tonight. Oh, okay, I'll go pick up this, whatever. And I was just like, I'm done.
Well, I think so many people get caught up in like, I don't know how to cook.
Yes.
I've heard that comment like when Shannon and I first got married, like Shannon wasn't a person that enjoyed cooking. I always enjoyed cooking.
Yes.
I was the same way. Like I would and I grew up with my mom doing that. Like she would just find stuff in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
And like I never forget being a kid. My mom would take a skirt steak and she would literally throw it in the oven and dump a can of salsa on top of it.
Yeah.
And then pull it out.
Yes.
And like that's what we ate for dinner that night. Was
it's like
that
a salsa
rice.
verde.
It's like a salsa verde. And it was good. It's like you think about the different things, and I think that's what so many people get caught up in is like what Ken and I think that's what's cool about following you and seeing that is like there's so many different ideas and the stuff's super simple to cook.
Yeah.
Right?
No, absolutely. I've had so many people message me, which I absolutely love, saying, thank you so much. I feel more comfortable in the kitchen now. I love, following your recipes because they're so easy, and it's a home-cooked meal for my family instead of just resorting to takeout or anything like that, which honestly is what keeps me really wanting to do it, because I love helping others with anything in life. And I mean, that's just another avenue of being able to do it.
And I think that also is probably, you probably don't recognize this, but that's probably even helping people's marriages. Yeah. Because sometimes, like, think about it, like the generations have changed so much to where it's such and the problem is, like, a lot of women are working, right? Even here at In-Telecom, we're hiring more women, and like we got to recognize that they are a wife, they do have a family, and they do want to be that mom, right? So they resort to eating out, grabbing something quick when you got sports, cheerleading, baseball, soccer, right? And now with the stuff you're putting out there, under 30 minutes, minimal ingredients, and able to get it going, like think about it. Like that, and it always feels good. Like Shannon will tell me last night, she was like, "Hey, let's go out to eat," and I was like, "All right." Yeah. Well, then she's like, "You know what? Avery's got cheer. She doesn't get home until 7. Let's just eat at home." Yeah. So like we just whipped something up real quick, and I even told her, I was like, she said, "I'm glad we ate at home." Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, you get that. It's so important. A lot of people don't realize how much that family bond is created at the dinner table. And I grew up that way. I mean, at home, we ate at the dinner table every single night. And you talk about the day and, what you loved about the day, what you didn't, and all of that. And that was such a big thing in my family and my childhood of growing up that it's definitely something that I strive to install into our family and our kids. And so many things happen around the dinner table. So it's wonderful to have a good meal and an easy meal to go along with it. And then there's still stuff that happens after dinner. Look, you have to get them bathed, you have homework, you have all the different things. So an easy one pot, throw it in the dishwasher, And you
think about traditions, right? Mm-hmm. And like everybody has their own traditions and building their own culture in their family. Yeah. And like I think it's so important to embrace that, because too many people don't eat at the dinner table anymore.
Yeah, they don't.
Right? Like, no. And we try to as much as we can. Yeah. And we always do. I mean, I know you've heard of pit and peak. Yep. Right? We talk about our pit and peak and what was a good thing for the day and a bad part of the day. And I think I love listening to the kids and hearing what they say about like what their best part of their day was and what the worst part of their day was. And I know they enjoy hearing us. Yep. So I think that's important, right? That meal
absolutely.
that you cook, that you do eat at home.
It is. It's more than just the food. It's, it's making the memories. Look, sometimes Cayman will come in and help me. And, like, that's a huge memory for me, is like him helping me in the kitchen. I mean, that's
I remember
awesome.
That with my mom as
I love
a kid.
that, yes. I mean, I did that, with my dad and even my mom growing up. I mean, I loved it. And so I love that they're having the opportunity to do that, too. Is every single dish always going to be a knock it out of the park? No. But, I mean, it's not always about that.
Well, sometimes it's the experience of doing it and putting it together. And
right. And
I agree. And I love doing different things. We do that for Christmas Eve every year. We have a thing at our house, and I'll try different things. And I did lasagna one year. I never made a homemade lasagna, and I'm like trying to figure out how to do it. And I of course, I bought the noodles you have to boil, not the pre-made that I could just bake. Yep. But it was cool. It was a cool experience, and I love doing that with my kids. And I love to hunt, so I have all this different game. Yeah. So I've even been trying different things with the different game meat. Like tonight, Shannon took one of your recipes. And instead of using a regular roast, we're eating a zebra roast
there
tonight.
You go.
So I'll let you know how it goes.
Right, I can't wait. I'm coming
I'm excited for it. So I think it's cool, and think about putting a twist on those things.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's awesome. And it's now becoming, that first year, just like you were saying, that first year you don't make any money. You're really just kind of growing it. But it's important to stick to things. If it's something that you really want to do, you stick to it, you stay consistent, and you make it happen.
It will monetize at some point, right?
Yes.
And I think that's where...
And it started this year, started to monetize. And that's kind of like where it all folds into, is it's starting to monetize now. So it's actually really a business. I actually just hired an accountant, which was kind of like my first big thing, of doing with it. And it's just you slowly add up these steps and all. And you're doing things.
Stuff that you enjoy and making money at it. And I think that's where my brother-in-law right now started getting lots of followers. He was just putting silly content on TikTok. And Alan, all of a sudden one day was like, I see all these people promoting products. Yeah. I'm going to just start promoting products. Yeah. So like, and I saw one day, he was like promoting a dog collar that was like one of the shot collars
Yes.
for the dogs, right? And the next thing you know, I see him promoting like a lip balm and then some pants.
Yep.
And like, I asked him, I said, man, he's making money
Oh, yeah.
from that. Like,
Oh, yeah.
He's getting money for promoting these products.
Yes.
People are buying them because he had a bunch of followers that just followed
Absolutely.
him for something else. So I think
Yes.
that's awesome that you can take
whole
this.
new world. I mean, it is a whole different world. The whole social media between the TikTok, Instagram,
Well, if you look
Facebook
at
in general. It's,
They interviewed children
Yeah.
not too long ago, and the number one job that
Yeah.
kids wanted to be in the United States was a content creator.
really.
So like, and look,
I mean, I believe it.
And a lot of people look at that in a negative way, and I get it. Like social
Yeah.
can be negative, right?
Sure.
In
Yes. Mm-hmm.
people's lives. And I think we live in this world today where social media can consume someone
It can.
in such a way. But I also think there's a lot of positive
Yeah.
that comes out of social media. And you look at the people you're impacting, what you're doing. So I think there are ways to create
Yeah.
positivity out of it and learn. Like, how
Yeah.
do we learn? Like, look, I'll tell you, like, I learned everything I knew about telecom in the beginning stages.
Yeah.
Me and Jimmy watch YouTube videos.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
that's how I taught myself how to do this.
And it's funny because, like you saying that, it's been around for forever, just
Yes.
in a different way. You know, I mean, even like watching YouTube videos or just anything like that. I mean, there's been content creators in different ways around for a long time. It's just now a much bigger thing.
It's a bigger business. You got
It's a
people
bigger
that are,
business,
They
yes.
just announced Mr. Beast is a billionaire
Yeah.
from this today, right? And a lot of the stuff he does, he loses money on the front end,
Yeah.
but then what a lot of people don't recognize is like indirect marketing.
Yeah.
Right? You see so many people creating content and wanting to put it out there. Because I think hearing people's stories, and like I look at like all of our clients.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get Steven on here and he will never. But he's got such
I will be
good-
here if that happens.
I tell him all the time, I'm like, man, you are so smart.
Oh, he is.
And you don't realize, like,
Yeah.
even the impact he's done for me
Oh,
as a friend
absolutely.
and a mentor. Like, I tell him all the time, I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I should pay you to be my coach from the things he's
Definitely.
helped me with
Look, I mean,
over the years.
like I
And-
said earlier, I mean, he was the second male in my life that I grew up with. So, I mean, growing up between him and dad, the amount of stuff that I learned and just that was instilled in me that you might not realize it at the time, but I do, you know,
And
you
that's
do
why I
as
think
you
that,
get
and that's
older.
why I've been pushing him. Like,
Yeah.
that information you have, like, and I get it. Like, in his mind, he's like, I don't need to.
Right.
And he doesn't need to.
No.
But if you also think about the lives he's impacted and the people he's helped over the years, like there are other people out there that would love that help
Yeah.
and love that. And that's what he asked me, like, what are you trying to get out of this?
Right.
What you're doing, what you're doing. I said, man, I really just enjoy giving back to people. And I've learned so much from the people that have come in and out of my life.
Right.
And look, and I'm doing great. Things are going awesome. And like, how can I take what I'm trying to do, put it out there for other people and let them know that like entrepreneurship, while it's not for everybody, but it's really not that hard.
Right.
You just have to jump in.
You have to
and
do it.
Hard is hard, right?
Yeah.
No matter what you're doing.
Correct.
And
Nothing in life is just easy.
No.
And, he's the number one person that I really learned from of if you want it to happen, you have to make the shit happen.
yeah, you
You do it.
everybody, I have an award that I give out around the company, and I
Yeah.
only give one a year, and it's a GSD award. And it's get shit
Get
done.
shit done.
I
I
tell
love it.
people always ask me like,
Yeah.
what was the difference maker in what you did? I said, well, I just have a master's degree in GSD. And they're like, people look at me like I'm crazy. I was on a panel at this big conference in front of 500 people, and they asked me a question. I was like, I have a master's degree in GSD, and the moderator was like, GSD. I was like, I get shit done.
Right.
And I think that's what it is. Like,
It is.
Like you said, you just got to get on camera. You just got to do it. So,
But I mean, it's your character of who you are too. Some people don't love that, and some people don't have that, strive in them to make shit happen. But if you're one of those people, and if it's something that you want to go for, then yes, you just.
but you can create that because
Absolutely.
I wasn't always ultra driven person. I was heavy set. I like to have fun, but
Yeah.
I technically wasn't driven. And I think what happened to me, and it's so funny how life throws full circle, and you'll love it. Yeah, I probably never told you this.
I don't think so.
So I was a bank teller in college, okay? And I remember getting the job, And it was a cool job. Like, I got to hang out at Paris National Bank in Hammond, and all these people would come in. Lou Goodo was there. I don't know if you know Lou. Lou's a big loan officer there. And, like, she had all the big business guys, Bob Moran, and all these people. Well, Tracy Durham was one of my customers that came in every day from Dixie.
So funny. Such a small world.
And Tracy would come in, and, like, of course, like, I was inspired from, like, at the time, I'm this young college kid, broke, and I'm seeing these people come in and make these huge deposits, right? Not really understanding business, right?
Correct.
You're just seeing this money sitting there, right? I wasn't supposed to look, but obviously you're looking, right? And those were things like I would talk to him all the time and just ask 1,000 questions and other business owners that would come in. And then I started to meet, I joined a fraternity, and Trey Tantillo and Kyle Tallow, like I met Mr. Bobby and like I remember going to his house for the first time. And I grew up in a 1,400 square foot home. And then I walked in this man's house and it's 8,000 square feet. I'm like, holy moly, this is like, and I just became intrigued and was just like asking questions. And what I started to learn and what I really like to inspire to people is like, you don't have to come from money.
No.
You can create your own destiny.
Absolutely.
And it's just about getting into something that you do love and that you are passionate about. And people always ask me like, do you like IT? And it's like, not really. Like, it's frustrating at times, right? What I do like, though, is the fact that what we use technology for and how we benefit companies. And, like, when you start to look at the impact of what we do for other people's organizations, besides just fixing a computer, like, that is super powerful in helping them excel in what they're doing. And that's what I do love, because I do enjoy helping people.
Yes.
So that's what, again, I think that's what was inspiring even from you. Like, again, it inspired me when I asked you, who's doing all this? And you're like, I'm doing it.
It's me.
I'm thinking I need to like hire all these people and like get all this stuff together. And I think that's what, I think you just got to jump in and just got to do it.
You do. And I mean, you're correct. You don't have to grow up from money, and you don't have to have a whole bank account of money to start something.
Your dad proved that.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
You don't even have to do, and again, that's what I love about you. Like, you're not doing, and you and Shane are not just following the footsteps and jumping right into the RV business. You're doing your own thing, got your own insurance company. And I think that's incredible that most sometimes would want to take the route and jump in that route. And like,
well, yeah, because I mean, it's easy sometimes and stuff like that for people. And especially if they don't have a passion of their own, it's easy for them to just fall into. They don't have to do much with it. And, it just kind of runs itself and all that. But I think
deep down inside, some people just have it in them, right? And I think that's the thing with being an entrepreneur.
Correct.
Is there's something that's inside of you that, and I think back to the days when I've been doing this since I was literally telling my HR director this morning, like, I don't really have much other experience because I started this when I was 24.
Right.
And I didn't come from a family of business, right? My dad was a boat captain.
Yeah.
And I look at that and I'm like, I think it was built in me, because I will say that even when I had a job and I worked somewhere, like, I was the entrepreneur. Like, I was the guy at the car wash, like, my mind would just go insane on like, how can we make this better? And like, how can we fix this? And how can we improve what we're doing?
Absolutely.
And I remember getting a job at Sonic Drive-In in high school and like thinking like, how can we improve this line? Like, something's just not right in the way these things are flowing. And it just, I guess your brain just operates in that manner. And I think so many people, we live in a world today where like entrepreneurship is the thing, right?
Yeah.
And I get it. It's a blessing and it's a curse.
Yeah. Everything is.
Everything, right? But you can also be an entrepreneur. And I think too many people, if they just recognize that, and most entrepreneurs, like, people ask me, like, what would you do in your next, people ask me all the time, are you going to sell the company? And I'm like, maybe one day. I'm 41 years old. Like, I'm having fun. Like, not today.
Not now.
But even, like, tomorrow, like, I ask myself, like, what would I do? And it's like, I think I'd go get a job. Yeah. And I'd just be the best damn employee. Yeah. Because one day I'm going to write a book, but I'm going to write a book on what not to do at work. Right. and what people shouldn't do. Because I can tell you some stories. And I know we've talked to some of these. And it's just like, some days I ask myself, like, really? Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, look, I know we're coming up on time here. Yeah. What, if you wanted to put anything out there to inspire more people, what would it be, Brandi?
Yeah. So honestly, just do what you love. And I think, I was always told that you never work a day in your life if it's something that you love. And so if you just strive towards that, and if you work towards that, then you can make shit happen. I mean, it's not like a fake it till you make it. It's just you believe in yourself and you make it happen. And that's with anything. I mean, truly, whether it's a personal thing, it's a business thing, whether it's just losing weight, or whether it's building a personal brand, anything, there's so many different ways out there. But just do what you love, do the best at it. And, everything will unfold the way that it's supposed to.
It always does.
Yes.
It always folds out. It's true.
Exactly.
You just got to do it.
Yes.
Well, how can people find you?
Oh, on Instagram, TikTok, all the ones. It's always the One Pot Mama. I have a website out. It's actually about to get revamped right now, so I'm super excited about that.
Awesome.
And
if y'all don't follow Brandi, go follow Brandi. She's incredible, and her content is awesome. It's fun to watch, and it's inspiring, and you will actually get a great meal out of it.
Yes,
too.
there you go.
So again, Brandi, I really thank you today for joining Pushing the Bar.
Thank you for having me. I love it.
I'm looking forward to seeing you soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Do it again.
All righty.